Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the studios of Grafton Community Television at 26 Providence Road. I'm Bob DeToma. This is Meet the Candidates. My guest this afternoon is Victoria Duckworth, who is running for a seat on the Select Board.
Hey, Bob. How's it going?
How's it going? You good?
Doing well. Doing excellent today.
Your first time.
That's right.
You know the one thing you haven't said to me that other candidates say?
What's that?
What are you going to ask me?
You know what? I like to be surprised.
Yeah, just keep it.
Off the cuff.
Yeah. We have a standard answer. It's not 60 minutes.
There you go.
Yeah, there's no gotcha questions. So because you've never been in before, why don't you start with a quick thumbnail sketch of who you are and what your background is, where you come from, what do you do?
Yeah, happy to. So I've been in Grafton for almost 10 years now. I've been on the finance committee for 4 years. I'm serving my second consecutive term as chair this year. I've also been on the master plan working group. We spent about 2 years together building up the strategic plan for Grafton's future, looking a couple decades into the future. My personal background is I'm a product manager in biotech.
Oh.
So essentially what that means is I'm sort of the glue that holds the business together. I have a role that is both at times strategic and outwardly looking and also very tactical. So I'm looking at things like market requirements and getting a lot of voice of customer from the scientists and researchers out in the field, bringing that back in and looking at things like what's the next best product based on what I'm hearing from the community, and also what's the best for the business. So I'm doing a lot of financial modeling. I'm doing a lot of communication with different departments across the business and outwardly as well. And sometimes I'm dealing with customs and things like that. So I have a lot of breadth, and yeah, it's really exciting and really fun.
Are these products that we would know and use, or?
I'm in the genomics market, so perhaps.
The genomics.
That's right. So maybe some of our neighbors in Grafton would know about it, but essentially we're building products in the research space and hoping to bring them to the diagnostic space to just make human health a little bit better.
So we're not running to CVS to buy one. It's
not today.
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. Select Board. You woke up one day and said, I'm going to go for it. Right?
It was maybe a little bit more than a day of consideration, but honestly, yeah, I feel super motivated to get up and be on the big stage, especially after the last 4 years on the finance committee. You know, I feel really prepared, and I feel like I have a lot of depth of knowledge of the town, particularly on the budget side. And I've been incredibly motivated and inspired serving in this sort of advisory capacity. But I think that I've got a lot of ideas to bring now to more of the policy-making side, now that I sort of know how the sausage is made and see opportunities.
So there's a lot of people in town that say that if you're going to run for Select Board, you need to start on some of these committees and then work your way up to FinCom, and then from there you jump off to Select Board. So it sounds like that was part of your decision-making process.
100%.
Yeah.
I think it would be really, really difficult to sit in the big chair without having had some of that background.
So besides the budget, what are some of the obstacles or some of the challenges you faced as chair? Because the budget's always there.
The budget is always there, and it is always a challenge. You know, I think that the number one challenge, and this is probably across all corners of the municipality, is communication and outreach. We see a lot of folks saying like, oh, I didn't know about X, Y, or Z, or I hadn't heard of that, or I don't necessarily understand some of the minutia. And that's okay. You know, you can leave the minutia to the super technical folks, but I think the onus is still on members of boards and committees to find ways to communicate clearly with the residents about the path that we're going down, some of the decisions that we've made, and help in making those decisions, right? We shouldn't be doing things in a vacuum in the municipal center. So I found that particularly challenging, the outreach piece, and that's something that I'm really committed to continuing to grow and work towards increasing as a member of the Select Board.
I can see how it's a challenge because no matter what path you choose or what medium you use to get the message out, there's always the people that say, I didn't know. And it doesn't matter what you're talking about. You know, you could be talking about FinCom, you could be talking about Apple Pie Social. Someone always feels like they weren't reached.
Right.
So I understand the challenge of getting the word out. But you're not just getting the word out, you're putting all the dollars and cents with it too. And that's also part of
That's the education part, right? And that's that two-way dialogue piece. And I think that there is an inherent challenge as well in the ultra technical, because municipal finance is complicated. It is not straightforward, $1 in, $1 out. There's a lot of complications and laws, both bylaws and Grafton and at the state level. And I think that's a big part of it as well, is how do we reach people with the best, most straightforward education, and then get that feedback and understand where the priorities in the community lie and how we can best utilize folks' tax dollars.
So you're familiar with the way they have Select Board Ask Me Anything?
Yeah.
Do you think that would be something the Finance Committee should consider?
I love that idea. I think a FinCom Ask Me Anything would be extremely powerful. And in fact, over the next couple of weeks, for the override discussion that's coming up on the ballot, we are going to be doing a couple of outreach activities utilizing both FinCom, Select Board, School Committee to sort of do that on a hyper-specific level. But I would love to see more involvement, folks coming out, listening to Finance Committee meetings and having the opportunity to meet those folks and talk to them and ask them questions.
You think people are intimidated to go to a FinCom meeting?
I think so.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like fun, but we absolutely try to make it fun. And we welcome questions, and we welcome folks standing up during public comment. Or I'll say maybe one of my worst habits as chair was that I wouldn't even wait for public comment. If I saw someone raise their hand, I'd be like, you know what, come on down, right? Because I want to foment this open, constant dialogue because, we're 9 people. We only know so much. Even if it's a lot, it's not everything. So I hope to bring down that intimidation factor by just being, open and really welcoming.
The conversations that you have with Select Board and Evan is involved, are you comfortable with that process? Is there anything there that you think should be changed? Or if you had a magic wand, what would you add into the process?
Oh, process is absolutely the magic word. I have either attended in person or in Zoom essentially every Select Board meeting for the last, let's call it 2 years. We'll say I've missed onesies, twosies here and there. And I think that their open dialogue and the way that, Evan will have his TA report every meeting and be a part of that conversation is fantastic. I do think that they do an excellent job communicating back and forth. But I think there's always room for process, particularly, outside of those sacred moments in that meeting. Knowing things earlier, even if you might feel like they're not super buttoned down or we don't have all of the answers or all of the numbers right now. I'd like to put myself in a position where, I make it easy for those early and often proactive conversations to occur so that there are as few surprises as possible.
And if you throw surprises out, people are going to be... Some people don't want anything to change,
That's
and
right.
others deal with change pretty well.
That's right.
So that might be considered one of the challenges to deal with if elected, but...
Absolutely. Change is the only constant. Well, we'll say death, taxes, and change. We'll call it those 3 things, right? But change doesn't have to be bad, and it doesn't have to be a surprise. And I think that goes back to my original comment about ensuring that open dialogue, early communication is key. That starts at the municipal center, and how we filter that down and how we are as open and inclusive as possible is key to ensuring there's fewer surprises and that even if folks aren't necessarily happy, because you're never going to make everyone happy, they're informed and they understand the thought process behind the decisions that are made, and that helps drive consensus, that sort of alignment piece.
Are you recognized in town yet?
Not yet. Not yet. I was thinking about that. What would it be like going into Stop and Shop to grab a carton of eggs? I'm a ham. I love talking to people. I love having those sort of spontaneous conversations, so I welcome it.
You might now.
Right, famous last words.
And someday you'll be shopping out of town.
Yeah, I'll be on the other side of the state, and I'll be like, how do you know me?
Right. That's funny. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to address the viewers at home. And as we said earlier, your camera's over there. So this is your time.
Great, thank you. Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank Bob and Bill for giving me this opportunity to come down here to GCTV and have this wonderful conversation, both with him and with the town. I've been on the finance committee now for 4 years, 2 years as chair, and I've really seen the town move in a direction that I think is ultimately very positive. We're very invested in ensuring that the town maintains the level of services that we've all come to enjoy and expect, even in these really tough times. And I think that the opportunity to be on the select board and help make really discreet, important and smart financial decisions, have conversations outside of Grafton, start thinking in a bigger community way, could be really, really beneficial for the town. So just as a reminder to everyone, the election is on May 19th. The last day to register to vote is May 1st, and you can still get your absentee voting application in until noon on May 18th. So I ask for your vote on May 19th. Thank you so much. Thanks,
Thank you.
Tom.
Thank you
Really
very much.
appreciate it.
My guest this afternoon has been Victoria Duckworth, who's running for Select Board. You're watching Meet the Candidate. On behalf of all the talented people that work here at Grafton Community Television, I'm Bob DeToma. Thank you for watching.